Hey guys, what's up? Nomus RC. So I got in something that I haven't had in probably about a decade. I love these vehicles, and honestly, at one point in my RC career, they were the only vehicle that I ran. An 8-scale buggy. So this is what they call the Team Losi Racing tuned Arrma Typhon. We'll kind of go through the differences between a normal Arrma Typhon and the TLR version. And this one is a roller that I got online. Pretty dang cheap. Needs a little bit of TLC. We'll have to rebuild probably a couple of things. Shocks, diffs. We'll kind of just go over the whole car and make sure that everything's in tip-top shape. So as you can see, it's just a roller chassis in pretty good shape, pretty clean. We'll be dropping in a motor and an ESC, and then we'll do a nasty servo, and then we'll follow up everything with a radio link receiver. So one of the biggest differences on these buggies is the actual grade of aluminum that they use. Not only do I like this color on the aluminum instead of just black or red, it's a much more durable, higher quality aluminum. So just looking through it real quick here, we do have these hinge pin braces on the rear end and on the front end. Normally those are plastic. We do have an aluminum servo mount stock. And then we have an aluminum upper hinge brace as well. Those are normally plastic. Looking at the bottom of the chassis, nothing super special, but you do see that other coloration, not just black or silver or red, almost like a gray coloration, and a little bit higher quality aluminum. Kind of a funky design body as far as coloration goes, but it will definitely not be hard to see. Okay, first things first, let's get these shocks ripped off and get the fluid refilled. All right, let's go ahead and pull the spring retainer off of here. Like so, get the spring off. Let's get this shock cap off of here. Let's dump that old dirty oil out. Clean off the threads a little bit. Now we can go ahead and load them all up in here. This nice little shock holder is available on my Etsy store. Link in the description. All right, let's go ahead and get these topped off. Let's get the caps reinstalled. All right, let's get all the springs back on them, and then let's move towards getting them back on the vehicle. On they go. Let's toss our wing back on here. Wow, so much better. Nice. So for the electronics, we'll be using some pretty basic equipment. 2050 kV motor, right? Generally stock. 6S 150 amp ESC. This, obviously, we're gonna go overboard on. We got a nasty HV EcoBoost servo that can do down to 0.07 for speed. And then we'll just be using a R6 FG. So this does have a gyro in it, but it is the smaller radio link receiver. So for gearing, we have Mod 1 13, 14, 15 tooth pinions. I'm not sure which one I'm gonna use yet. We might just start with a 13 and see if that does enough. Let's go ahead and get the radio box opened up. And now let's take a look at these diffs. We'll start with the center diff. So the diff is completely locked. I assume that there's something in there to do such a thing. That doesn't do me any good. For just all around bashing and racing, I like my diffs to be pretty open. I guess there was nothing inside of it. Maybe some like 1 million weight oil? Not really sure. But it was completely locked up to where you couldn't turn it. Just making sure that the pins aren't snapped. Okay, I took it all apart. It's cleaned and ready for assembly. We'll go ahead and throw diff fluid in it and cap it off. All right, now that the center diff has been dealt with and it's reconditioned, let's go ahead and get it all back in the vehicle. I pulled the front and rear diffs. They appear to be in good enough shape for testing and some bashing purposes. We'll probably change fluids later, but they actually looked okay for now. This one still has a click in it. I don't really see any beat up teeth, but that's all right. We have all the stuff to rebuild it if something breaks, which, come on, we're gonna break it. Since we're using stock electronics, motor and ESC, these will actually be able to mount nicely in the original positions and screw down. Let's go ahead and get them installed. Actually, I'm gonna go ahead and stuff the servo in first so that we don't have to work that around anything. Let's just get that in and get it done. ESC is fully mounted. Went ahead and mounted the switch as well to the stock location. Got the servo in and got the wiring ran underneath the drive shaft and over to here. And I went ahead and plugged in our receiver. So we'll go ahead and press the bind button right here. So everything's looking good. Steering servo and motor. Let's go ahead and get the horn on the servo, get the receiver in the receiver box and seal that all up. Got the servo horn on. I had to actually put some spacers right here to raise this up because this servo sits kind of high. Let's go ahead and get the cap on this receiver. I did set the gyro up and it's working. Let's seal it up. Okay, let's get the motor plate ripped off of here so that we can go ahead and mount it onto the motor. And I actually swapped the motor out too because the other one had kind of an issue. All right, guys, the build is done. Went with a 17-tooth pinion, got the servo all set up and going. I threw in a 4S 130C. That's probably what I'm going to run for the most part. Let's go ahead and fire it up and see how it does. Let's see the power and the speed of that servo. Oh my God. Because Typhons, or 8-scale buggies in general, have such small tires. This is nuts. Wow. Let's do a throttle test. Is 4S going to be enough? Oh yeah, that's enough. Let's take it out for a rip.